Clark City. This again is certainly one of the most highest profile development projects in the nation. $14 billion, planning to host 1.2 million people, a lot with this. So we're really pleased to have our next speaker, engineer Jake Bingcang, to talk about it. I want to know a lot more about it and plan to spend the rest of the day looking around. But also he was key in the SC Techs project, which if you're, I don't know, we have relatives in the north of the country, and it was a game changer in getting there. Once it used to be a painful, difficult drive to get there. Now it's a easy, fast, and pleasant. So yeah, with a big update on this, we're really pleased to have Jake Bingcang. His formal title is Senior Vice President for Conversion and Development, New Clark City. Glad to have you, Jake.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting BCDA in this event, and congratulations to the organizer, of course. So we are delighted to present updates on what's happening in New Clark City. So first, for those who are not yet familiar with who BCDA is, we are a government corporation. Our task is to develop former US bases like Clark, John Hay, Poro Point, and we are part of the Build, Build, Build program of the government. And our mantra has always been PPP, Public-Private Partnership. As you can see from our business map, we are present in Metro Manila all the way to Central Luzon, up to Northern Luzon in Baguio and John Hay. Our total catchment area is more than 30 million people, so we are a big contributor to the nation's economic development. In Metro Manila, of course, you are familiar, we are proud with one of our successful development, which is the Bonifacio Global City. So I started to be part of that project 25 years ago, after college. So right now it's one of the most familiar business development in the country. Okay, so why we are building a new metropolis for the country, which is particularly here in Clark. So these are the business cases that are present in our objectives of building New Clark City. Of course, they mentioned already about the booming BPO industry, residential requirements, growing population, the presence of infrastructure, good infrastructure here in Clark, as well as in the recent pronouncement by incoming NEDA Secretary Balisacan. He said one of his most important goals in the coming 6 years is to strengthen the manufacturing and agriculture sector of the country. So we are aligned in terms of the objectives for Clark. We are aligned to make sure that we achieve that reinvigoration of manufacturing and agricultural sector for the country. So we are now in Clark Freeport zone, but our focus is New Clark City. It's in the north of the area, particularly in Tarlac province. It covers around 9,450 hectares. So in the master plan, it covers around 9,450 hectares, as I mentioned earlier. And right now, our partnership and arrangement is through long-term lease. So any companies who would want to locate in New Clark City, we are offering up to 75 years of lease or joint venture arrangement. So these are our initial partners. Just like in Bonifacio Global City, we started with a good master plan. And our master planners are global leaders like Surbano Jurong, Nippon Koi, and ACOM for the master plans and design standards and guidelines. We also partnered with the UK government for the parks development and also for the housing, and for ADB for the connected park and river park development. And the last lines are our partners for utilities. We already have utility partners. For water is Prime Water and Tahal of Israel. For power distribution is Meralco, Marubeni, and Kansai. And the second line are our initial locators in the area, which we will discuss later on in details. So right now, the status of New Clark City in terms of infrastructures, we will start with these are the different areas where we think Clark has a big advantage in terms of attracting investment in the country. In terms of aviation, we all know that we just opened the new Clark International Terminal building last May 2. I'm proud of this project because this is a personal project of mine. It started in 2017 and it was completed a year ago. So this is, I think, among the few build projects of the government which was started and completed under the same administration. And it's a model for PPP arrangement as mentioned by DOF in all other PPP projects for the country. So the new international airport, I encourage you to visit that area, has a total floor area of 110,000 square meters. So it's big, it's twice the size of Mactan. If you've been to Mactan, it's twice the size of Mactan Airport. It's bigger than Terminal 1 of Manila, Terminal 2. It's almost the same size as Terminal 3 of Manila. And it has a capacity of 8 million passengers, expandable up to 12 million passengers. So these are the features of the new terminal. You'll feel proud when you get to go inside that facility. And the good thing about this terminal right now is that even non-passengers can come inside, because we want to have we want to share that sense of ownership to our people that this government has provided them a good infrastructure for themselves. So these are actual pictures that were taken during the opening. Okay, and we started to see the return of flights, which were suspended during the pandemic, but starting this June, more Korean flights and other international airlines are coming back to the terminal. And in terms of logistics, we are proud to host again FedEx, where they have recently opened a big sorting facility inside Clark. And recently we are about to conclude our negotiation with them to put up their Southeast Asian aviation hub in the country. So we expect them to build the same scale of development as the terminal airport that we just built. And it will bring a lot of value chain business for the country or for the region. And other infrastructure developments that we are building for Clark includes this. We're building a new control tower. This will be the tallest control tower in the country. It's around 18-story high. So we could imagine how tall this would be. It's already 32%, and we intend to complete this by end of the year. And then we are about to start the rebuilding of the second runway. We are proud with Clark because this is the only airport in the country which can host 2 parallel runways. Manila, they said, has 2 runways, but they are perpendicular. They can have simultaneous landing and takeoffs. But in Clark, given the size of the aviation complex, it can accommodate, in fact, up to 3 runways. So we are now planning to do the detailed design for the second runway and start the construction by late next year. So the government's focus, even in the next coming years, is really all about Clark, to make the infrastructures more competitive with what others in the region are offering. Okay, next. So in our part, the new terminal building right now, we already privatized the O&M. It's a consortium called Lipad, if you heard about it, but the main operator is Changi Airport of Singapore. And so under our concession agreement with them, they are required to update the master plan. So the master plan calls for the development of the entire aviation complex to accommodate 80 million passengers. Now, we know NAIA has a capacity of only 40 million passengers, but Clark can accommodate in the master plan up to 80 million passengers. So this one is prepared by ACOM, but the other areas outside of the area that was turned over to Lipad, so Lipad has only 800 hectares out of 2,300. It's being master planned by architect Palafox. No, I won't discuss much of that, but later on probably he can give us some snippets of what he is preparing. Great things for Clark as well. So in the master plan, there will be 2 more terminals, and then start when this will get approval from BCDA and DOTR late this year. We will offer commercial, mixed-use, warehousing development in the area. So you can see that really for Clark, the airport will be the central theme of attraction, and all around it are all aviation support businesses. And the good thing about this Clark airport is that, yes, you can go on to the next slide. So these are the renders by both by ACOM, and this one is from Palafox. Sir, I will use your good renders as well. Huh? Okay, next is that, okay, let's go next. The good thing about the Clark International is its connectivity from Metro Manila. No? We are appreciative of what this government has done under Secretary Tugade, that they will connect Clark by fast rail to Metro Manila. Right in front of the new terminal building is an ongoing construction of a train station. No? You can see actual pictures. No? So this train project of the government will covers a total entire area of a length of 147 kilometers, so all the way down to Calamba, Laguna. And in fact, in the news today, if you're going to run around, read about the news items, you can see that the ADB already approved the funding for the Manila to Calamba section. So really, this rail project is going to be a reality in the next few years. Now, I was telling my children na when this will be completed, we don't need to use our cars to go to Enchanted Kingdom in Santa Rosa, Laguna. We'll just use this great facility. Instead of 5 to 7 hours, in just 2 hours or less, we can arrive in our destination. So so you can see the terminal building on the right side, and then that's where the location of the rail station. Okay. And then we will also offer commercial development. Can you bring back the slide? So our agreement with DOTR is that they will build the underground station, and on top of it will be a mixed-use development. So late this year or early next year, we will offer it to private developers to develop it into a commercial station. Next. So these are just alignment that we have. So there's a station behind SM City Clark. Okay, next. So in terms of road for New Clark City, so these are the completed roads that we have. No, it is already accessible now by a new interchange that we built on Esitex going to the new city. So these are the MacArthur Cloverleaf and then the Grand Boulevard on the north. And then there's a bridge which is becoming popular among Instagram users. So this one will be completed. No? The access road going to New Clark City coming from Clark will be completed by end of the year. Okay, these are actual pictures of the development we have in New Clark City. And then the good thing about this project is that when we started with this project, when we presented the design, the DBM secretary at that time is Secretary Jokno. And he said, oh, I'm going to fund the development, the infrastructure of these projects. And then he became Central Bank Governor, which among our first locators is the Central Bank minting facility that they're going to transfer from Quezon City to New Clark City. And now he's the incoming finance secretary. And then his chief of staff, which is my friend, is going to be the new budget secretary. So they told us they are going to continue to support New Clark City. So the thrust and focus of the incoming administration, New Clark City is among the high priority, is in the among high priority list. Okay, next. So in terms of investment opportunity, once the the initial developments will be completed, we will be looking for a partner to do public transportation services with us. So we will aim to connect Clark Freeport Zone, this area, to New Clark City. And then we are just finalizing the terms of reference where ADB will be our transaction advisor. In terms of network, we know connection is an important decision factor for investors. I think you are familiar with our partnership with Facebook. Facebook, if you can see the dotted red lines, that's our underground submarine cables that Facebook has put up from China to the United States. And along the way, they will pass by the red solid line, which we already completed. So in exchange for the use of that facility, they're going to give us 2 million Mbps of internet bandwidth capacity. So how big is that capacity? When we started with this planning in 2016, I understand PLDT is around 1.2 million Mbps and Globe is less than a million. But I know now they've increased several times. But given that scale of 2 million Mbps, and it's going to be used by the government, so we expect a much improved government service for our government agencies. And now we are at the stage of bringing it down, the blue line with DICT, to major economic centers like Clark and especially in Metro Manila. So this project is being led by DICT, and they already commissioned a local company, Converge, to lay down the fiber optic cables. And next will be the last mile connectivity. And so we are about to launch the invitation to construct last mile connectivity in New Clark City with private sector partner. Okay, next. In terms of institutions in New Clark City, okay, next. We started with the government. We are appreciative of what the government have issued last year, an executive order mandating all government agencies to put up backup or satellite offices in New Clark City. No, they're not forcing them to move out of Metro Manila. That will be a big political issue. But instead, for sustainability and climate change, resiliency, if something happened in Metro Manila, then the presence of government will always be felt, and it will always be up and running through the offices in New Clark City. So these are the initial government services which have signed letter of intent with us, more than 40 of them. And right now, we have signed contract of lease and agreement for more than 10. And some of them are, okay, next. Okay, so this is just, before that, I will just show the first phase of the government administrative center. If you were familiar with the picture, this was used during the 2019 SEA Games. And in fact, we have recently opened it to more sporting events. Tomorrow, there's a big event there, the Spartan event. And in the coming weeks, duathlon and other sporting events. So we are now reopening the facility for more outdoor activities. I think one of the winners during the pandemic is the need of people for more outdoor activities because of health and safety considerations. So New Clark City blends well with that objective. So we have athletic stadium, we have aquatic center, initial housing, and government offices. Next. So as I mentioned earlier, these are the initial government centers. On top is the central bank minting facility. They will occupy 30 hectares. So they will be transferring their entire Quezon City minting facility, where they will print money, they will produce the passports, the national ID. So their target for construction is late this year. They already awarded the detailed design to IDEA. And then on the south, on the lower part are two government agencies. One is from Department of Agriculture, which is the National Seed Technopark, which addresses the need for food security, which this pandemic has taught us, the need to always address the food security for the population. And then on the right side is the Virology Institute of the Philippines, which was created by Congress to study and do research on all possible future viruses on plants, human and animals. So These are the initial government offices that we will see that will rise in New Clark City, and the others are next are institutions, no? The schools. We have UP, no? The University of the Philippines, Philippine Science High School, Polytechnic University of the Philippines, and then the National Academy of Sports, which President Duterte is going to visit on Tuesday, June 14. This is a good follow-up project from the record tally medal haul that we had in the recent Tokyo Olympics. No? We had the first ever gold, multiple silver, and bronze awards. So this National Academy of Sports will train from the grassroots level upcoming athletes, future athletes for the country. Can we see some photos also? This one is already at 90%, and as I mentioned, this will be going to be inspected by President Duterte next week on Tuesday, June 14. Okay, next. And in terms of industries, okay, the opportunities for industries is that we already have areas allocated for industrial areas. I know here in Clark, there's not much space for industrial development, but in New Clark City, we welcome this kind of industrial parks because we have allocated ample spaces, no? Approximately around 800 hectares. So our first partner is Philinvest, and they already signed the first 3 locators in their area, and we are still offering other areas for industrial development. Okay, next. So this one is the Philinvest. It's around 288 hectares. In fact, the end of this month, they've sponsored a roadshow in Singapore and invited us to invite potential Singaporean companies to invest in New Clark City. So they already completed the site development in their area. Next. So among the priority industries that were listed in our master plan, so we are giving priorities and incentives to these different kind of businesses. Probably your business is related to any one of these shown on screen, and so we welcome this kind of partnerships in New Clark City, and we provide incentives, we provide protection in terms of regulatory risk, in terms of business risk as well. So if any of your businesses are included among the cited businesses here, so we are welcome to hear and receive your interest or proposal. Okay, next. The good thing about New Clark City is that while it's properly master planned covering 9,000 hectares, the buildable area is only 3,000 hectares. So the rest, 6,000 hectares, we're leaving it to open spaces, to parks, to forest reserves, and for other green developments. So really we want to create a green, sustainable city for New Clark City. Okay, so these are to show that we are serious in our master plan. We already completed a 1.2 kilometer river corridor where people can do outdoor activities. So even if we are in a tropical area, our model is Singapore, we can still enjoy outdoor activities through these parks. No? Okay, can we see the other? Okay, and this one is the NCC Central Park. It covers around 70 hectares. It's going to be the biggest park development that we will have since since Luneta was constructed more than 50 years ago. So this is in partnership with the United Kingdom. They already completed the detailed design, and we're going to offer it as well for PPP because there are commercial areas where the private sector can recover any investment they will make in the Central Park development. Okay, next. So these are our ongoing leisure and green and open development. So we are about to open the first of the 2 golf courses in the area. This one is being developed by POSCO of Korea, and then the other one is by it's called Han Lux Mountain Resort. It's the same developer of this Marriott Hotel, Swiss Hotel. So they're expanding in New Clark City. They got 440 hectares. They are about to build 36 or 236 whole golf courses. And under their phase 1 development, is they're going to construct banyan tree. No, banyan tree. So we will be seeing big names in the hotel industry. So the first development will be the banyan tree. So it will be the first banyan tree in the country. They will start construction by November of this year. And in fact, after this presentation of mine, I'm going to have a meeting with them to turn over the site to them, for them to start the site development. And after Banyan Tree, they will build Westin Hotel, Angsana Hotel. So we can see big names in the hotel industry to be rising here in Clark. So this is the detailed plan that our board has recently approved. So it's now okay for construction and development. Okay, next. So other future projects and opportunities that we have and we continue to promote and offer to private sector partner. Okay, we got several proposals for eco park and theme parks. No, we have golf courses for daddy and shopping areas here for mommies. How about the children? So right now we're evaluating several proposals for theme park. So I think this blends well also with our master plan for more outdoor activities. No, but we are still open for other proposals as well. Okay, next, of course, mixed use, retail, and food and beverages. So the initial partners that we have in New Clark City, we estimate that the population there will reach 10,000 people at least. No? Central Bank alone is, I think, 2,000 employees together, so that not excluding their families. So at the start of the first phase of development, we see opportunities already for mixed use, retail, and F&B in New Clark City. Given that the lease rates right now are still at a fraction level here in Clark Freeport zone. And we are also going to start doing, offering this, what we call NCC, mixed income affordable housing. No, the lesson that we've learned in Bonifacio Global City is that ordinary workers or even managers or workers that cannot afford to live in BGC because it's too expensive. That's why if you see workers, they're living outside BGC. But in our development plan for New Clark City, even minimum wage earners can afford to live inside New Clark City. Our model, again, is Singapore. Now, they're very good in terms of this mixed income housing. So in one building, there are different typologies. So even if you are a minimum wage earners, you won't feel like you're living in a second-class structure. No? But instead, you are all treated equally. And the good thing is that you're living in a compact neighborhood, no, where you can walk around the area and even in a walking distance with your offices. So this one is also designed and the design was also completed by the United Kingdom. So we are appreciative with our partnership with the UK. So we're offering this as well to housing developers by late this year for another PPP development. Okay. This one, I mentioned earlier, the last mile connectivity. We are just awaiting the feasibility study from Asian Development Bank. And so we welcome telcos and other ICT companies to partner with us to lay down the last mile connectivity in the area. No? For businesses, because we already have partners for power and water. Now we are aiming to sign an agreement with an ICT company. Okay, next. And also we're offering data center co-location facility. Now we've got interest already coming from foreign companies to put up data center in New Clark City, but we're just asking ADB to study it for us and advise us on how to approach this kind of proposals. Next. Another opportunity is solid waste management and waste to energy project, because we are aiming for at least 10% of the power supply to be provided in New Clark City to be under renewable energy. And this is one area which we can think we can have a good opportunity because there's an existing landfill there. So if we can convert that materials into waste to energy development. Okay, next. And then given we already have increasing number of locators in New Clark City, we are offering estate management services. So we're going to look for a private sector to provide services in terms of traffic, garbage collection, and even the integrated operation center management for the city. Okay, next. And also for the initial sports facility that we have in New Clark City, we're looking for an O&M partner as well to manage this facility for us. So as I mentioned earlier, we recently opened New Clark City for many sporting events, and later this year we'll be hosting international competition as well. Okay. So in summary, those are some of the short-term business opportunities we are going to offer to private sector, and should any of these in the audience who are interested, you can approach us and give you more information about the developments that we are coming up, what will be the requirements, and then the timelines for each of these projects. So on that, thank you very much for listening.